I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., and welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show at the beginning of Women's History Month. Boy, I racked my brains on who would be the most appropriate guest of the dozens that we expect to have over the course of March on this show. Where should I begin? And then sometimes the blessings that you pray for are actually right in front of you. In this case, I looked to no one other than my mother. My mother, Jacqueline Lavinia Jackie Jackson, is an American author and peace activist. She was born March 17th, 1944 in Fort Pierce, Florida, to my grandmother, Grandma Gertie Brown. Grandma Gertrude Brown was a migrant worker who earned 15 cents an hour picking beans. Over the course of my mother's more than 5 decades of marriage to my father, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, indeed 6 decades, my mother has traveled the length and breadth of this nation and the length and breadth of our world. Her friends include Nina Simone, Betty Shabazz, the wife of Malcolm X, Coretta Scott King, the wife of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Aretha Franklin, the Staple Singers. She's known every president since Richard Nixon, every Speaker of the House, every mayor of the city of Chicago. And in her own right, in 1979, my mother traveled with the late Jack O'Dell to Beirut to speak with Palestinian leaders, Yasser Arafat. Writing for Ebony in 1984, journalist Hans McCoy stated that Jackson was an eloquent spokesman, a spokesperson for oppressed minorities, including Black women. In 1985, she led a delegation of 10 women to Ethiopia, Sudan, Somalia for relief efforts during droughts across those countries. And when we look at cuts in USAID, she might as well get ready to get her delegations together again, because feeding poor people around the world has been one of the missions in her life. In 2001, she was arrested at Camp Garcia Viejas in Viejas, Puerto Rico, with 9 other activists for misdemeanor trespassing. The U.S. Navy had been bombing that island for the purposes of practice for decades. My mother decided to put her body on the line. She was incarcerated. My father was very nervous and very anxious about her incarceration. My dad came to me and he said, "What are we going to do?" I was a congressman at the time, "to get your mother out of prison." I shared with my dad, "Don't pray for the Navy. I'm sorry, pray for the Navy. Don't pray for mom. She gonna beat them." I'm confident of that. I can't think of a greater or more luminous figure to talk about the history of our people, to talk about her personal experiences, including some of the extraordinary people that she's met across her life, other than my mother, Dr. Jacqueline Jackson. Mom,
Hi.
welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr.
Hi,
Show.
my son. I'm so pleased to be with you today. And I just hope that I can answer some of the questions that you are going to present.
I hope
Thank
that
you so much. And I
it's an
want to
honor to
say
have you.
that I am so excited and have been excited all my life to be a woman. And most of all, I'm excited to be a woman living in these times because we all share the space today that Esther of the Bible shared in such a time as this. For who knows why we have been brought into this light for such a time as this. And I'm excited to be here and excited to be with you and very proud of you, my son.
Mom, let me say that you look absolutely stunning. And for those of you who are watching this on YouTube and will be downloading and sharing the apps, Mom, you are glowing in the light. Mom, I want to start out.
Well, I want to say this. I owe all of this to a young man who carries my face in his case, and it's Joseph Hampton. And
I
he does a fine job.
thank you, Joseph. Mama looks wonderful.
Thank you.
Um, Dr. Jackson, let me ask you a question. Dad often tells the
Why don't
story.
you just call me mom?
If that's okay with you, I'd be happy to. Mom, um, Dad often tells the story when he first met you at North Carolina A&T and what your interests were. that included writing a paper about some of the conflicts, colonial conflicts that were taking place in India and around the world. Given that you were born in Fort Pierce, Florida, when you came to North Carolina A&T State University, how did you and when did you develop your world view outside of the neighborhoods that you grew up in? We have about 2 minutes before the break, Mom, and then
Okay.
we'll finish the answer after the break if we have to.
Well, I was born down low in poverty, but I was not born low down,
Mm.
nor were the people I associated with. Your condition need not shape your ambitions or your desire. In Fort Pierce, Florida, at that time, you had the Seminole Indians who had been displaced. During the period that I was there, you had Cubans. You had kind of sort of the same group that you have now. However, the African American population was enormous. You had Zora Neale Hurston. You had Black people who were down low, but not low down.
Mama, right
And
there, right there. I need to take the break, but we are going to line this show up because we're coming to our 17-minute segment when we come forward on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
thank you.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-511-2112. That's 800-511-2112. 800-511-2112.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. My very special guest in this hour, the beginning of Women's History Month, is none other than my mother, Dr. Jacqueline Jackson, who has insisted that I call her mom.
Absolutely.
Mom, just before the break, you were saying that you were born on the low end, but not necessarily low down, and you were talking about the influences of Zora Neale Hurston.
Zora Neale Hurston, um, James Weldon Johnson, the desire for Black History Week. But because of poverty, as I said, we were raised with the Haitians, the Cubans, the Seminole Indians, and those who engaged in agriculture, policy. Everybody, education was not in abundance. Mary McLeod Bethune was there. My mother reminded me that she met Mrs. Roosevelt when she was a friend of Mary McLeod Bethune, and they came into the city and spoke to the elementary kids. I was raised during the time of the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, uh, and a lot of harshness and the end of the war in Japan. So there was a lot of politics in my life. There was also the coming of Eisenhower, General Patton, and most of the Black men who could at that time join the military. Many of them were not able to participate because of the syphilis disease. So I had a very international background initially. I wanted to correct you. My mother and those that were kind of at the bottom of the economy didn't. It wasn't 15 cents a day. It was 15 cents a bushel. I don't know whether it was for uh, tomato tomatoes or string beans, but they were seasonal workers. At the end of the season, they either went up to Baltimore or another city with another set of plants, or they lingered in the bowels of America to participate in most of the illegal systems like policy, bootlegging, and I was a young entrepreneur because I was the assistant. So it was a very interesting and very alive kind of economic situation that we had to survive.
So
And that's
16,
why I say that we were at the bottom, but we were down, but not low down.
I
We
like that.
had values and we had ethics.
Mom, so you bring this at 16, 17, 18 years old
By
to
that time, I was in
Carolina A&T,
Virginia.
North Carolina A&T, and
No, I went to Virginia with my parents because the people I was living with, uh, my main mentor at that time, my surrogate aunt, Juanita Moore. You have to remember that we talk about children having children, but once upon a time, we supported each other. and the community wanted my mother, and not only my mother but other women who had children out of wedlock to succeed, and they encouraged marriage and also uh, were very sharing in nurturing their children. So my mother had three children prior to her marriage and to my stepfather, who was in the Navy, and she went to Virginia because the Navy was kind of housed somewhere in Langley Field and in the Virginia area. And we adopted a new life. Everything that happened in Florida was put behind us, and we assumed middle classism
Mm. Let me ask you this question.
and the Republican Party, because at that time there was I like Ike. And I
Mhm.
remember as a young person wearing the I like Ike button.
So somewhere in this period, you go to North Carolina A&T State University,
And I
and
was one of the youngest students in my class at that time. And you want to get around to Jesse Jackson. I know you don't want to know about me.
I do want to know about you. I
Well,
just want you to meet him.
well,
I need you to meet
you
him on
want
a
to know about the big guy. Okay, all right.
So you
But
meet this.
when I arrived at A&T, I had come from a level of conservatism. Girls were never allowed out of one's sight. So uh, I had not a wealth of uh, social experience, but I had a clear understanding of the politics of racism, somebodyism, and hold your head up.
Mm,
And at A&T, I expressed that in every way that I could. And my friends who are still living is can testify to that. So while on the campus, I was organizing and planning my stay with my friends, my newfound friends at A&T, an HBCU school, and I felt safe there. I felt able to express myself, and I was always available to be corrected.
mm.
When my husband entered, he came to the school later, and he came as a football player, and I was not impressed because the stereotyped feeling about the sport fellas was that they had no interest in serious things. So my girlfriends convinced me that it was my time to go to the canteen to pick up the potato chips, hamburgers, and everything that my floor wanted. So the football boys had a terrible habit of lining up on both sides of the sidewalk and teasing the young ladies who came to the canteen, and most of my girlfriends knew it and didn't want to be bothered. So when I went to make all the purchases for my floor, and the the football fellas were very kind of romantic and, oh my goodness, St. Peter must be dead, an angel has fallen from heaven. Um, uh, we like the way you move, and then they would sing songs. So as I was walking through, and I had a show for them, of course, because I had at that time made all of my clothes for the school and going to A&T, and I was very proud of them. So I did my little strut with my heels on, and my husband said, no, Jesse Jackson said, girl, I'm going to marry you. And when I got to the door of the canteen, I turned around and I said, don't you forget your promise. and come and see me sometime. And we became friends. Um, and I say to most young people, I think they're looking for love incorrectly.
Mm,
I became involved with my best friend. We
mm.
were, as a result of that, and him thinking I wanted him to take me seriously. And then he discovered that I was joking, and uh, he developed an interest in me, and I used to help him with his French because I spoke a little French at that time, and he only knew Southern conversations. Uh,
Mama, let
no,
me
I'm
ask. Let me,
serious. He
let
was
me,
a really slow guy.
let me. He credits you to this day with
I'm
exposing his little.
kidding, of course.
He credits you to this day with exposing his mind to a world that was bigger than his rearing in South Carolina. And obviously, with your humble beginnings, you had an interest. You grew up, as you said, with Haitians and with Cubans and people of different walks of life. Obviously, he sees something in you that sparks his interest in the world, beyond the neighborhood, beyond traditional engagement. We have about 4.5 minutes before the break, but on that path, you meet Mahalia Jackson and you meet Nina
James
Simone.
Baldwin, a host of others. America was very exciting um, during that period. We, unlike today, Trayvon Martin, um, um, George Floyd, all of these brutal deaths that we have been exposed to, it has created a level of silence. I don't know what we attribute that to, but we had um, 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 uh, Emmett Till, and we were devastated. We had the 4 children bombed in Birmingham.
Birmingham.
We were devastated, and it caused us to move with a level of togetherness
Mm,
that was sustainable.
mm.
And it's difficult today to um to experience and for us to experience that same kind of stick to itness.
So the death of Emmett Till, the four little girls who got bombed in Birmingham,
And the
created
Ku
a
Klux
consciousness,
Klan
created a
agitating, and
consciousness, created a consciousness that helped with that togetherness. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
yes, but so should have Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, just the long list of brutal murders of the period that we have existed in. Um, is kind of menacing, the fact that we um, have no black banks, we have no, and the amount of wealth that we have seen in our community, and yet we don't have any Marva Collins schools
Mm.
in abundance, and it gives me pause.
We have about 2 minutes before the break, but I do want to say that your historical perspective is extremely important to who we are. I mean, the leapfrog or the gaps between a less than conscious generation who, in an era of social media, they feel the sting. We see the viral videos, and then by tomorrow, there's another viral video. But to actually live where you only had ABC, NBC, CBS, and you had a television set with two earphones, and the pain of Mamie Till Mobley, whom you know and whom you knew.
Absolutely, and Rosa Parks. Uh, um, but as African American women, we addressed and discussed uh, Emmett Till and they weren't passing people; they were a part of our legacy. And I don't know today where all of these murders fit.
Mm.
We've had many Emmett Tills, but we only had one Emmett Till.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to Dr. Jacqueline Jackson. She's my mom, and I can't think of a better person to begin Women's History Month in 2025 with than someone who has seen the last 3/4 of America's century. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. When we come forward, Jacqueline Jackson is our guest.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tyreek Wynn with 4 things you should know with BIN News. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who is black, is taking jabs at former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who announced over the weekend he's running for mayor. Former vice presidential nominee Tim Walz says he will certainly consider a run for president in 2028. The Democratic governor of Minnesota made the comment during an interview with The New Yorker that was shared Monday. Tim Walz was the running mate for Kamala Harris, who is black. Dalton, Illinois was served a subpoena last week concerning a restaurant and entertainment venue on land once owned by Mayor Tiffany Haynier's boyfriend, who is black. The current owner, Tiffany Kamara, says she filed the lawsuit in September, claiming Haynier refused to issue necessary liquor license. Chicago, Illinois is welcoming a new head of Chicago Park District. He was selected by Mayor Brandon Johnson, who's black. I'm Tyreek Wynn on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
You asked for it. 9 new dates added. You won't want to miss. For the Record presents Tarantino Pulp Rock, the immersive live experience that will blow you away. Come kill it with us. Ends April 6th, only at the Cinevita, next to SoFi Stadium. Get your tickets now.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers' winning streak is now at 6. Last night's 108-102 win over the Clippers at Crypto.com moved the Lakers into second place in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City is on top in the West, 10 games ahead of the surging Lakers. The Lakers' 18-4 record is the best in the NBA over the past 6 weeks. Luka Doncic led the Lakers last night with 29 points and 9 assists. Rookie forward Dalton Knecht dropped 19 off the bench. The Lakers are back in action Tuesday night against New Orleans. The Clippers are at Phoenix on Tuesday. R&B singer Angie Stone was on her way to perform at the CIAA Men's Basketball Championship game Saturday night in Baltimore. Stone died early Saturday morning in a car crash outside of Montgomery, Alabama. The CIAA is made up of HBCU schools. Virginia State defeated Bluefield State 71-64 to earn the automatic bid to the NCAA Division II tournament. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
you? Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ROCK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ROCK to 42424. That's ROCK to 42424.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
Slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
What happened?
This. They say it's
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. My very special guest is Dr. Jacqueline Jackson, and I want to thank in a very special way Melody Span Cooper and Tavis Smiley for allowing me to begin Women's History Month with one of the greatest historical figures that I know, my mother. Mom, welcome back to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
I'm so happy to be with you, my son.
Mom,
okay.
We began this month and this day discussing first your relationship with Dad and the ministry that you both undertaken, your friendships. Hope you'll touch upon them with Mahalia, Nina Simone, Aretha Franklin, Cecily Tyson, Winnie Mandela, Betty Shabazz, Martin Luther King, Ralph Abernathy, Andrew Young, Fidel Castro, Yasser Arafat, and President Anwar Sadat. But you also wrote me a letter as a mother every single day while I was incarcerated, for which lifted my hopes and my spirits. You found time for your family. But I don't want to focus on all of that as much as I want to focus on this question. Can you share with us and our listeners the role of women as the backbone of our movement and why they must emerge in this era to the foreground?
It's what I think is most important that I share with you the conclusion of James Bevel. Dr. King became very angry with him because he had gone to the schools and organized the children. Those are the ones that were confronted with the fire hoses and the dogs. And Dr. King said he didn't want to assume the responsibility for the violence that had been heaped onto these children who volunteered to march for their freedom. And it was Bevel who said, if the children don't, the children will be the beneficiaries. So they must see the struggle and and understand the kind of discipline that is required to move this country and reshape its opinion. And I do feel oftentimes when we raise children, we say, oh, I don't want my child to ever have it the way I've had it. The way we had it made us fine people. The way young people saw the movement gave them the strength to sing "We Shall Overcome." What
Mm.
side are you on, boys? What side are you on? Wade in the water, and
Mm.
strengthened the family. This freedom is not having it your way, but creating an opportunity for everyone to participate in fairness, love, and peace. Um, it also it also showed the young people what pain and war feels like. When
Mm.
we think in terms of incarceration, when we think of picking at people and poking fun at people and war, we think that in order to be engaged, you must descend into darkness.
Mm.
The winners, we look at unkindness as jokes and pranks today, and I was never raised that way. Um, we look at war romantically with heroes, never thinking that this is a kind of wicked process. The winner can only be the one who descends into a dark place and comes up with a horrible way to destroy others. Then you can be victorious. And what is heroic about that? This is what women taught in the past. When I went to college, there wasn't a person who came by that campus that knew my parents that didn't say, Jackie, we've been looking all over for you. Here's $4. Uh, this is this is all I have, but you have something. And today, the level of civility in our society has been lowered. And women are the foundation of, I feel, a civil society. And when you look at a society that is without civility, you have to look at womanhood
Mm. Mm.
and ask, where are they? Because all God gives us life, but it is the woman who gives you birth and your physical access to this planet. And she's the one who first touches you and who nurtures you. And we should now, given the level of violence that we are all enduring today in America, really stop to look at who we are and look at womanhood. I want to give a shout out really to Jimmy Carter, President Jimmy Carter, whom I think will end up being the finest president that America has made, that he created a White House conference on family.
Mm.
And we talk about my marriage and the longevity. We talk about uh, uh, marriage in America. And when I married, my vows were made to God. not to my husband. I promise, through the thick and thin, the good and the bad, to be a healer and to maintain a family. So my commitment was not made for the audience or the party. It was far more spiritual than that. And today I question whether people are raising a generation whose word is their bond. Does your word matter? Reverend Evans used to say, if a handshake and your word means nothing, then you should tear up the check. So it's something that we are losing. I dare not say have lost, because that would leave a level of hopelessness coming from me. But I think we're going to have to kind of stop and think about where we are as a society.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. That's Dr. Jacqueline Jackson, but I know her as my mom when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Fatherhood includes being present during pregnancy, delivery, and beyond, supporting your partner and advocating for your baby's health. Black fathers play a key role in reducing maternal and infant health inequalities. Join the free AIM Fatherhood Program and make a difference. Visit blackinfantsandfamilies.org/fatherhood.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part, they accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their program. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2024, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-652-1714. That's 800-652-1714. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-652-1714 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. My very special guest on this Women's History Month beginning process is none other than my mother, Dr. Jacqueline Jackson. Mama,
Hi,
welcome back
son.
to the Jackson Jr. Show.
I wanna add another comment. It's
Yes,
so
ma'am.
important to the mothers, uh, to mothers that I say, and especially those who have children who uh, have had problems and who have been incarcerated. I don't want them to give up. Uh, Incarceration is a very painful experience. When one person is sick in the family, the entire family is ill. When a person is incarcerated in a family, the entire family suffers because of that incarceration. A group of people, I can't remember who recorded the song so long ago, and it said, when something is wrong with my baby, something is wrong with me. And I remember, I think the letter that didn't make the book, and I was a little upset about it because you told me, you said, Mother, when you write me these letters, I want you to know they read them all before I see them. And I wrote you a letter telling you how to break out of jail. And your mind is a very holy place. I can't think of the writer at
You
this
know,
time who
you
said,
know why the cage bird sings.
Walls do not a prison make,
Mm-hmm.
nor iron bars a cage. And I told you, when you go outside in the yard and you see a plane, imagine where you want it to be at that time or that day, and get up and catch that plane and fly to where you want it to go, and see yourself getting off at the airport. Just don't let these people break your spirit,
That's in your book.
because that's what prison
Mm.
and fake news is about. Luring you into a place of failure. And only you can fail yourself.
Mama,
You don't fail others, you fail yourself. And if you feel yourself failing, make a commitment to do better and be better.
Mama.
And that's why I wrote you every day to hold on to your dreams. And I want to ask those who have people incarcerated to do likewise. And then also, it sends a signal to those who have incarcerated you
Mm-hmm.
that somebody cares. So they don't have just a piece of junk,
Mm-hmm.
they have a human being.
I just
And
want to add
so
this.
we're looking at them also.
I just want to add this that my mother wrote me so many letters while I was incarcerated. I was ashamed when the prison guards would gather everyone for what they called mail call, because 3 or 4 letters would come my way, and I would watch men every single day who did not get a letter from anyone. And then I would give them my mother's letters, and they were grateful to read my mother's letters because they already knew Jesse's mother was sending him a letter every single day. And so her letters became hope for me, but they also became hope for literally dozens of men who never received communications from the outside. And they all wanted to meet you, Mom. And I just knew that you were going through your own situation by virtue of the fact that you had a son who was incarcerated. Now, I only have a couple more minutes in this segment, but
Well,
I
I
do
thought it
want
was interesting that you gave me a list of men to write letters to.
to.
You said, not only write me a letter, write them one too. It was like, oh my God.
Mom, let me just say this. I work with some pretty amazing women. My executive producer, Gina Towns, and when I think about Dominique DePrima and Nina Turner and Candace McCollum and LaDonna Ray and Cleopatra Draper, and I think about these women who, are much younger than I am. They've lived their relatively new lives. They're in radio. They're behind the scenes. They make all of these shows work. Logan and others. Um, what message do you have for young women who, during this Women's History Month, are being asked to assume so much for all of us?
Um, First thing I would say is don't allow anybody to separate you from the blessings that God have for you. You should be and continue to be the best person that you can be. I, as a believer in something greater than I don't know if it's a man or a woman, or if it's just a spirit, but I do know it's something because I watched my mother die, and something walked out of her body that made her alive. And the woman I knew. I I just know that faith is real, hope is real, and the most important thing that God gave us, which is love, is really, really real. Don't allow anybody to stop you from loving. Don't allow anyone, including yourself, stop you from forgiving and being the very best human being that you can be, because that is the God in you. And that's the way God can communicate to others through you.
Mom, I have about a minute and a half left in the show. These are very difficult times for our people. So much of what you and Dad and many others have fought for over the last 50, 70 or so years, from Brown versus the Board of Education to the present, it feels like it's all being lost. Share with us in about a minute and 30 seconds, Mom, any hope that you can give us.
Um, Let me just say it and wrap it up in one statement. God is alive and well, and God has to know that you can be trusted with trouble.
Oh, wow. God has to know. when I
that
was
you
can be
can be
trusted.
trusted with trouble.
My mother
And
wrote me
that
in one of her
that is
letters.
not uniquely mine, but I got that from a minister, and I hold on to that.
My mother wrote me one of her letters in prison, and she put that quote in there, and she said, "God must love you because he sure trusts you with a lot of trouble because a lot of trouble keeps coming your way." Mama, thank you for being on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Oh, I had a ball. No scolding me.
No, you did a great job. When we come
Okay,
forward,
all right.
when we come
Okay.
forward, we'll be back on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tyreek Wynn with